Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the big match build-up show. West Ham United are back in action today at the London Stadium as we take on Leicester City in a top-four clash. At the moment, we're not in the top four, but it's a top-four clash. Let's have it right. It's a 2:05 kickoff at the London Stadium, live on Sky Sports. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Scott. Scott, the team news are out, mate. Let's go straight through them teams.
Well, it's what we expected, didn't we? It's basically all the same, barring Bowen coming in for Antonio. This is the first time I've seen the sub, so two goalkeepers again. No Lanzini. That's a little bit worried. We're very, very short of options now, aren't we? Subs wise, obviously games come too soon again for Yarmolenko and Ogbonna. So yes, this one is a big game for Diop. I said he made a couple of mistakes in the Wolves game. I want to see him learn from them and improve his performance. So needs to be very tight at the back today. Very, very tight at the back.
Yeah, 100%, mate. As you said, mate, very worrying bench. Not a lot of options to bring on to change the game. So we've got to hope that the starting 11 does stay fully fit and they can get us through this game. But as we discussed on Friday Night Pint, mate, it's the sort of team we were expecting. Bowen's it's a big game for Bowen today.
Yeah,
big chance, big opportunity for him as well.
Yeah, that's it. And this is times. This is when he's found himself in and out of the side. We've mentioned before that he seems to be one of the first names when there's a substitution goes up. He's the one that comes off. So this is his chance now to prove himself. He's got the opportunity to step up. He's in a big important role for us. And when you look at it, you've still got Lingard, Bowen, and Fornells will cause teams problems, and also Masuaku with his pace. He had a decent game for his first game back the other night. So going forward, it'll be a threat as well. It's just going to be tough. It's just going to be tough. Leicester, fantastic away record this season. So they're not going to make it easy for us. But it's where their priorities lie, because they've got a big game, I think, next week, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, we spoke a lot about Mikel Antonio on Friday night. Obviously, massive loss, as well as Declan Rice. But losing Antonio as well is a right kick in the teeth at the moment with what we've got 7-8 games left now this season, going for that top four. This is a massive game today because, obviously, Liverpool getting a late winner last night against Villa, Chelsea getting a good win at Palace, and then Tottenham versus Man United straight after us this afternoon. So 3 points for me is a must today if we've got any hope of trying to sneak into that top four come the end of the season.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's the thing. It's as we said on Friday Night Pint, not getting a win is not the worst result, but if we want to finish inside that top four or want to finish in them European spots, a win is a must. We've got plenty of other games that we can go on there and win and put ourselves back in there. But to beat this one puts us 2 points behind them. And then, that's 3 points closer to finishing inside that top four. That's how you've got to look at it. Every game now is a cup final for us. And it's how we approach it, how we need to dominate from the off, as we did against them in the game earlier in the season. Yeah,
100%, mate. And speaking of Mikel Antonio, I've got a little graphic to put up here. It shows how important he is to the West Ham side, especially against the top six. So there you go. Games with Antonio, 21, 11 wins, 5 losses, 5 draws. He is a massive, important player for us. And then we move on to games without Antonio. Not so bad to win 4 out of 9 without Antonio, 2 draws. We've only lost 3 games without him. So it's not the worst record in the world. But this is the stat that worries me. Without Antonio against the top 6, played 3, lost none, drawn none, win percentage none. So that's a worrying fact. So it just shows he's a big loss for West Ham at the moment.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's what he adds, and it's so frustrating because he looks so lively against Wolves, didn't he? Inside that first half an hour or whatever it was he got to play, he's running at the defence. That's what we need today. We needed him to bully his way through this Leicester defence. But as I said, we've still got Lingard, Bowen, And Ben Rama, this could be a game for Ben Rama to come off that bench, step up and nick the headlines off of somebody. This is what we need today. We need an outstanding performance from someone that we're not expecting.
And the thing is, as well, I mean, we said about a weak bench, but when you look at it, you've got a kid on there, Odibeko, who's he must be on a high at the moment after his performance on Friday night against Man United. So you never know, They're Connor Coventry on the bench as well. It's a big opportunity if they get on, but let's just hope that we don't have to call upon them injury wise as well to influence the game. You never know. If he's going into the last 5-10 minutes, chuck him on Odibeko. You never know. Could have a Freddie Sears moment from all them years ago.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. That's exactly it. And as we were saying again on Friday Night Pint with Odibeko coming on, so long as he's not asked to play that holding role, like the hold-up striker role, I mean, long balls into him, expect him to hold it up. I think he'd be more suited with the Lingard, Fornals, Ben Rama, that type of attacking set up behind him to play the little 1-2s and get in behind the defence. That's the problem is if we bring him on and ask him to do the running and what Antonio does, is that really his game? From what I've seen him in the under-23s, he's not that hold-up type of striker. He's the one that wants to get in behind, So
he's the sort of striker that wants to play off the shoulder, look at them little runs, making them little runs, a bit like a Jamie Vardy, if that makes sense. Someone like him. I mean, look, Mark Noble makes his 400th Premier League appearance today. Big game for him. Souček, massive game for him as well in the middle. We'll talk a little bit about Leicester City in a minute. We'll have a little look at the opposition today. But before I do, I got in contact with Lee Chappie, who's a massive Leicester fan. All of you may know him as the Jamie Vardy lookalike, but he was kind enough to send in a little preview, which I'm going to put up now, play now. So, Scott, sit back, watch, enjoy, listen to Lee, and then we'll talk about it in a minute, mate.
Yep.
Lads, honestly, I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be a massive game between this pair. I don't know how far you are from kickoff for playing this, but I've got a bit of a predictions for your lineup as well. If the predictions aren't out, this is my predicted lineup. Jim Vardy up top with Nacho. Perez will probably play as the 10 role because there's no James Maddison. Castagne will go left. Ricardo Pereira will probably go right. So we'll play like wing backs almost with 3 centre backs on the field of Fofana, Evans and Amate because we have no Soyuncu. He's still isolated in Turkey from the international break. Ndidi and Tielemans in the middle. We have to play those players in the middle. Give or take the best pairing in the Premier League right now, outside probably Man City, of course. Maddison's probably not going to feature from the start purely because he's still not 100% fit, because that's what Brendan Rodgers said. But it's going to be a massive game between the two sides. It really is. West Ham are chasing European football, and I hope you do get European football and break that the top 6 mould, the boring, stale top 6. I hope you do it, but not today. Obviously, I want Leicester to win, but good luck anyway. Obviously, we've got about 8 games each to play, so I'm hoping that we can both break into that top 6 barrier. I'm hoping Leicester get Champions League football. In all honesty, we've been playing really well this season, as I mentioned, Soyuncu is out of this fixture. He's not got COVID himself, but he is isolated as well. Kelechi and Nacho should start with Jamie Vardy. He's an absolute powerhouse at the minute. He's on form. I know Jamie Vardy's not scoring goals, but he is still assisting, and they're working really well as a pair. So I'm expecting them to do some special damage against you boys, especially with no Rice and Antonio as well out for you boys. I feel Leicester can probably get a revenge from that first fixture. And like I just said, James Maddison, he had a mini operation not too long ago and suffered a slight injury to his hip / groin area as well. So he's been on and off for quite some time in terms of fitness and form. So I'm hoping we're going to see him probably within the next week or two coming back into the main starting lineups. But you might see him getting subbed on. I think he did get subbed on against Man City. So overall, it's touch and go for him to start, like I said. Big game. 3-0 at home at the King Power. You absolutely battered us. I'm expecting a better from Leicester City this time round at the at your stadium, at the, what do you call it, the London Stadium? Is it it's not Upton Park, is it? What do you call it these days? The new stadium, I don't know what you call it, the Olympic Stadium. And Vardy, I know his form's gone at the minute for scoring goals, but I'm expecting Jamie Vardy to score today or / tomorrow, depends when you're watching this. I'm expecting Jamie Vardy to get back on the goal scoring sheet. I'm expecting a Jamie Vardy brace. I'm going to Leicester 2-0. I'm going to Leicester 2-0. I don't mean that in disrespect. I feel Leicester are going to win this one 2-0. Cheers for having me on, guys, and good luck for the rest of the season. Cheers.
Well, I've got to say, thank you so much for Lee for sending that in. Very confident. And it's the London Stadium, by the way, Lee. That's
the thing.
Thank you so much for Lee for sending that in. It's always nice hearing opposition preview. He probably looks like Jamie Vardy, doesn't he? It's worrying. It is worrying. I mean, people were probably flicking on thinking, God, bloody hell, they got Jamie Vardy live from the training room. But no, thank you so much for Lee for doing that. I think he got his team spot on there, didn't he? Let's have a little look.
I don't think he's too far off.
No. So Schmeichel in goal, Amate, Evans, Fofana. You remember Fofana, who actually turned down West Ham to go to Leicester. Pereira, is it? Prayer, Tillemans, Ndidi, Castanga, Vardy, and Iheanacho. So a very strong Leicester team now.
That's probably the strongest that they could put out. Obviously, they've got no Maddison at the minute. He's not even made the bench for this one, so that's a bit of a bonus for us, I think, as well. You know, not having that type of player, because he is a player that can impact a game coming off the bench. I'm worried about Vardy. You know, he's not in form. We saw in the game earlier in the season how quiet we kept him, so he's got a point to prove today. You know, he's one from them who's going to want to get yourself back on the score sheet. And as I said, they've got big games coming up around, like next week. So they're going to want to try and hit a bit of form today. And it just goes to show, even though we are in contention of that top four, the fact that Leicester are quite confident going into this one. You know, a 2-0 scoreline that he was predicting now, you know, could that be a bit overconfidence? You know,
I think when I look at, if I was a Leicester fan, I'll be looking at it as Antonio and Rice are out. So that's a massive, massive boost for them.
Yeah.
But as you said, Maddison's not in the squad today, which is, it's a boost for us. So, I mean, Scott, same as last week, mate, as we did get in the walls, we picked out 3 players. The first one we've picked out who we think will cause us trouble is Wilfred Ndidi. As you see, appearances 18, 1 goal, tackle 65, success 66%, passes per match 54.72. He is their engine room in midfield, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, you know, and he's key, like with Rice with us, he's key to how their midfield works. And, you know, the partnership that he's got with the other guy in the middle as well has been really good. And much like our Souček and Rice combination, the two players sort of flatter each other. So it's going to be a tough battle in there for Nobes and Souček today.
Oh, massively. I mean, Tillemans as well. I mean, Lee said in his preview that Tillemans and Ndidi are up there for the best centre midfield pairing in the Premier League, up there with Man City's. I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't mention Souček and Declan Rice in that, because I think them two are well up there for the best centre mid pairing in the Premier League.
100%. This is what we were saying a lot like on Friday Night Pint, when you've got to be counting Moyes in for manager of the season. You've got to look at what is expected of people, you know, and Rice and Souček, you know, thrown together midway through, well, you know, sort of halfway through the end of last season, and they've made a budding partnership. You know, they complement each other, they suit each other, they know each other's game really well, and for 2 players to do that in such a quick period of time just shows how much quality there is of the 2 players and a decent understanding.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. The next player up is one player that you picked out in your preview. Your mate, Iosi Perez. 18 appearances, 2 goals, no assist, which I was surprised with. On target 9, big chances created, none as well. So very surprising stats from him there, because especially with the chances created and the assist as well. Here you see goals with the right foot 2, none with the left. So let's hope we keep him on his left. No headers. Put him in there on his head. He'll miss. He's hit the woodwork twice this season. So look, he's listen. We know what he's like, Perez.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
as you said, Scott. He always seems to have a good game against West Ham. He's been our he's haunted us in the past few games.
Yeah.
So it's a player that we need to watch. But as I said, look, put it on his left foot, he won't score. But you watch now. He don't get a headed goal. He don't get a left foot. Incoming perfect hat trick today.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. That, people will look at the stats that he's got and think, well, why have you picked him out as a player that is one to watch? But it's his record against us. He's been involved in 6 goals in his last 7 games against us. And we've seen before. You have players who may not be the best player or may not, may not be in the best form, but they have teams where they always seem to turn up against. And Perez is looking like that. You look at Pepe for Arsenal. Guy looks absolutely useless when he plays. He plays against us. He looks like one of the world's best. And this is what I'm sort of seeing with Perez. I'm not saying he's a poor player, but his performances are not spectacular. And then he steps up against us. So he's going to be one interesting one to keep an eye on.
Do you know what, Scott? Bit of good news. He's actually not playing today.
Oh, is he not?
He's actually out. He's actually out. Do you know what? We've done these graphics before the game, and do you know what? I'm quite happy with that now. I've actually lifted about 10%. So no, he's not playing.
I'll just see that as well. He's not there.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's he's not playing. Do you know what? It's because I looked at their starting lineup quickly as well. I'll see Perret playing, and
that's the one I think I'm mistaken for.
Do you know what? It's live. Things like this happen. Let's move on.
We need to have a spare player for when if a player's out.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's only because I spoke to Leicester fan. He said that Perez was definitely playing today. He was fit, and let's move on quickly. One player that is definitely playing. I've just double checked, and he's in the starting lineup. One man that when you come up against Leicester, most teams fear. It's their top goal scorer. It's Jamie Vardy. 26 appearances, 12 goals, 7 assists, shots on target 30, big chances created 8. As I said, Scott, he's a massive player for them. He's been unbelievable throughout the years for them. Goals with his right foot 10, goals with his left 1, headed goals 1, shooting accuracy 48%, and he's hit the woodwork 4 times. Scott, thoughts on Jamie Vardy, mate?
Listen, we know what you get with Jamie Vardy, don't you? He's a worker. He's a willing runner. He can finish. He calls his teams loads and loads of problems. He's one of them players that don't really give defenders a minute because he's on them all the time, and he is one of the main reasons why Leicester are where they are, because of his ability, especially on the counter attack as well, which in previous years we have struggled against. We seem to be the team at the moment that takes the counter to teams and catches them on the break. But we know of us of old, sometimes with our defending, we get caught and we get caught out defending set pieces attacking set pieces when we lose the ball. We've been caught out in the past. And the way Leicester set up with the players that they've got, this is one big worry that we're going to have to make sure we don't falter. We've got pace in our side to keep up with these players, but we've just got to be very, very careful on the break with players like Vardy, because he can, in form, he can be devastating. Yeah,
definitely. And Diop and Dawson are going to have their work cut out today with what Leicester have got up top in Vardy and in Iacho. They're 2 strikers that are in a bit of form. Well, not so much goal scoring form for Vardy, but Iacho definitely is. He's found his comfort zone at Leicester, and he's seems to be fitting in really well there now.
That's it. And I think don't quote me on these stats, but I'm sure this is his most prolific season for them this season. So as I said, he's another worry. He is another worry. Where before you sort of be praying that he was playing because he's not the greatest. Said form's one of them things. It can lift a player massively, and
I mean, in charge today, you got Mike Dean, Mike Dean, the assistant referees, Ian Husson, Mark's goals. The fourth official is Simon Hooper. On VAR today, let's hope that we don't need him. He's Mike Oliver and his assistant, Dan Cook. But, Mike Reed, Mike Dean, whatever you want to call him. He's officiated West Ham 3 times this season. We've got a good record with him. We haven't lost with him so far this season. So let's hope that that continues. He obviously took charge of the FA Cup third round win at Stockport in January. Then, as we know, the goalless draw at Fulham in February, which will always be remembered for the Thomas Souček red card. And then last month, he was in charge for our 2-0 home win against Leeds United. So, as a good record, let's hope that continues.
You just don't want it turning into the Mike Dean show like it normally does.
Yeah, well, this is the problem, innit? He likes to make things about himself, doesn't he? We all know Mike Dean. He loves it, but let's hope that he's learnt his lesson a bit, and let's hope that he's not in the headlines tomorrow morning.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. That's what we want.
But let's
see West Ham headlines all across the board.
Before we start going into predictions and going a bit more in depth for how West Ham can win this game, let's bring up a few stats, Scott, because I know you like stats. So I'll sit here and I'll put them all up on the screen because I know you love a stat. The Hammers hold an all-time edge, winning 12 of the previous 27 Premier League meetings, with 6 draws and 9 victories for the Foxes. West Ham have also had more. Mike Dean's referee. I shouldn't have had this one. I think he's the first ref to give 100 red cards, isn't he? Not in one season, Scott. Just in his all-time career. But West Ham have more men sent off in the 27 Premier League matches between the two. 4 for us, 3 for Leicester. Don Hutchinson, Igor Stimac, Adrian, and Mark Noble have all seen red against the Foxes. Let's hope that Mark Noble don't pick up a red today. The 3-0 win earlier this season was West Ham's biggest over Leicester in the Premier League, while Leicester's biggest victory was 4-1 they achieved at the King Power Stadium in January last year. The highest scoring Premier League match between the two was in May 1998 when Samasia Boo, who scored 2 that day. Do you remember him? People were booing him. We were just saying Frank Lampard Jr. and Trevor Sinclair secured a 4-3 win at the Bowling Ground. I think I remember that game. I'm sure that Tony COYI come on as a sub for Leicester and he got clapped on. And then within like 10 minutes, he scored 2 goals for Leicester. I'm sure it was that game. And people were sort of like, not booing COYI, but I was thinking, oh, come on, just blow the whistle. David Moyes has faced Leicester 9 times as a manager with Everton and West Ham, winning 4, drawing 3 and losing 2. He has also won 4 of his 9 meetings with Brendan Rodgers.
That's for Moisey, that's a decent stat. Normally, some of his stats up against managers that have been around for a while are quite poor. So that's good to see. That is good to see.
Yeah, definitely. Good stat, that one.
Yeah.
Leicester are yet to lose a Premier League match at London Stadium, with the Foxes unbeaten in 4, winning 2 and drawing 2. That's a worrying stat, and that needs to change today. We need to add an L to that stat for Leicester.
That's it. I was surprised with that one when I was doing the preview and saw that one. It's very surprising, especially with Leicester. Normally, we're a side that we would have. As you saw in the earlier stat, we used to hold the edge over them a lot. So, gonna be tough.
West Ham are looking to record their first Premier League double over Leicester since the 99-2000 season under Harry Redknapp. West Ham have the second best home record in the Premier League, 28 points, while Leicester have the second best away record so far this term with 34 points. Both sides are second to Man City in both them stats. And that is why City are top of the league. But you've got the best home form. You've got one of the best home form teams against the away team. So that's a draw, isn't it?
It's got to be. We're sitting here building this game up and saying this has got 0-0 draw written all over it, isn't it?
The Hammers need one more win to equal their club records of 16 in a Premier League season. When you think about that stat, that's a bit. It's not that great, really, is it? When you think all the years we've been in the Premier League and this could equal our biggest most wins in a season. When you think about Leicester, Man City that go on like a 25, 26, 27 game winning run in one season.
Exactly. But that stat itself just shows how well we've been this season. You know, you probably look at that 16 wins. If we win today, that's 16 wins with 7 games left to go. You know, that probably would have nailed on, guaranteed you top 4 before in other previous seasons.
Yeah,
you know, especially that last season at Upton Park. You know, how many games we win that one, and you think, you know, now we're struggling to stay in the top 4 because of all the other sides picking up form around us.
Yeah, we drew quite a lot in that season as well, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Jesse Lingard has 6 goals and 3 assists in 8 league appearances for West Ham. No other Premier League player has been directly involved in more goals since his debut in February. We'll talk a bit more about Jesse Lingard in a minute when we go through the team and how we're going to win this game today, or try to win this game, should I say. But Jesse Lingard has been a massive player for us since he's joined the club. As I said, Mark Noble is set to make his 400th Premier League appearance for West Ham today. He's in the starting lineup. So we spoke about it on Friday Night Pint. Mark Noble, what an achievement. He joins an elite club of players that have played that. He's done that for the team he grew up loving as a boy. So it's a massive achievement for Mark Noble today. And let's hope that he's in the winning team.
Yeah.
Leicester are unbeaten in the last 10 Premier League away games, winning 6, drawing 4, and I've just lost once on the road all season. 9 of James. Oh, they get worse. 9 of James Premier League goals this season have come away from home. Leave us alone. We don't worry about these stats. What I bring these ones up for? Oh, scored 9 times in his last 10 appearances. So we've gone from a 0-0 draw to a 6-0 Leicester win. No, I'm only joking. Look, you got to bring these stats up. We need to know what we're up against.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, there's some. Let's talk a bit about the game then, Scott. How are we going to win this? How do we beat Leicester today?
Well, ideally, a repeat performance of what we saw earlier in the season. It's going to be tough. To be honest, take the game to them. You know, get in about them early, I reckon. You know, put that back their back line under a bit of pressure. I said the form Lingard's in at the moment. Bowen, as I said, with a point to prove, he's going to be buzzing from scoring the goal against Wolves as well. Fornals, his work rate, Masuaku as well. You know, as we said at the start of the show, we need to tighten up a lot at the back. You know, we need to tighten up a lot. But the way we sort of took the game and dismantled Leicester earlier in the season, we've got the ability and the players to do that again today. So, you know, I'd go for this one. I'd go for this. We can't afford to sit back too much.
Bowen to be confident, wouldn't he? Because he scored in the 3-0 win at the King Power earlier in the season. As I said, that day, I said it before, that was a perfect all-round performance. And that's one performance that always sticks out in my memory from this season, because just, you remember the goal from Fornals, the ball over the top, the touch, the finish from Fornals, great goal. Antonio scored that day, obviously missing today, but 2 of the goal scorers that day are starting today.
Exactly.
Bowen, you know, we found ourselves 3-0 up. No one's expecting it. It was Soufal's debut that day. Kept Vardy in his pocket. So let's hope that he can do that again. But he's got an inform in Iheanacho as well to. So it's a big game for that back four today.
Yeah, massive. And the thing is, you look at we've seen the stats today that we've gone through where it's sort of we're up against it a bit. You look at the stats when we played them earlier in the season. You know, we would have been up against them in that one. So sometimes the stats they're there. You know, they're good to have, but sometimes, you know, a one performance just smashes them stats to pieces, and that's what I want to see. There's no reason why our own form has been good this season. I think since we've only lost to Liverpool and United at home, bar Newcastle. Is that right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So, you know, you take that Newcastle game out because there was a lot going on at the time when that one was in. So it's only been 2 of the so-called big 6 that have turned us over at home. So we need to, you know, it's going to be tough. But we've got a chance.
Yeah, listen, we're praising Leicester, and rightly so. You know, they've had a great season. They're up there on merit. You know, they're sitting third in the Premier League. But listen, even with the injuries we've got, we've still got a good enough team to go out there today and get a result. As you said, a draw ain't the worst result in the world.
No.
Not the worst result in the world. But 3 points is massive. It's massive. As I said, Tottenham play Man United after us today. You know, Chelsea picking up a win yesterday. Liverpool getting a late winner puts them back in the mix for the top 4. When a few weeks ago people were saying that they're out of it, they're not even going to make it. It just shows you get a couple of good results in the Premier League, you get a little run going, you can move up. But where do I think the key battle for me today is in midfield? And listen, we'd all prefer Declan Rice to be in there instead of Mark Noble. And that's no disrespect to Mark Noble, but when you're coming up against Ndidi and Tielemans, you're in for a game today. And we can't allow for them to have the ball. And I think that you'll see Fornals dropping in to help Souček and Noble. You'll see him dropping in because of his work rate. You're going to need that to break that midfield up. And that's
it. It's what we were saying against Wolves with Noble. You know, he needs to work like a crab. He needs to cover that back line to allow Souček to get further forward. You know, I don't want to see Nobes bursting forward, if I'm honest. You know, I just want him to...
To be fair to him, Scott, he didn't do that against Wolves, did he? He sort of sat back and broke up play. So let's hope that, you know, that he can do that again today.
Yeah, that's what I want to see for him today. Putting, you know, getting his body in there, getting his face in amongst it all. You know, putting a few challenges in. You know, causing them problems from his defensive game, and then just freeing up the other players. Look, we've got enough quality going forward to cause Leicester a lot of problems. If Noble can just sit in there, break up the play, and feed them more attacking players and let them do the work, allow Souček to drift forward when he can. You know, I just thought with having Nobes in there, it restricts Souček a little, you know, because that's no disrespect to Nobes as a player. It's just the fact that Rice is a lot more mobile.
Yeah.
So that's it. If he just sits in front of that back line, works side to side, breaks up the play and gives it to them players to push forward. We all know with Noble's range of passing, we all know he's got the quality to pick a pass. So if he wins that ball, so long as the players are on it and on their toes, he'll find them with his passing ability.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Thomas Souček as well, going to be vital in both boxes today. Let's hope that he can pop up because he hasn't scored for a few games now, so he needs to get back on the scoring sheet. But listen, if he breaks up the play and gives it to other players and they score the goals, he's done his job today. So
that's it, mate. That is it. That is exactly it. And that's how we've got to look at it. You know, we've got enough. That it's hard without Antonio and Rice, but there's enough quality there to get the job done.
Definitely. And also you got Masuaku as well. Big game for him today. I remember at Leicester away in the 3-0 win. He had a great game that day. Very comfortable. And we spoke about him. I showed a stat earlier about Jesse Lingard. How important is it for him today? Obviously got connections with Leicester City. He was on loan now in the early part of his career. So it's it's a big game for Lingard today because, as we said on Friday Night Point, he's the one that slows games down when we need to. He knows to take control. He drops off, looks for that ball, makes himself available all the time. He wants the ball because he knows that he's one of the best players on the, not only for both teams but on the pitch, and especially for West Ham as well. And
that's it with him. You know, how do you defend against him? You know, Leicester can't afford to put 2 players on him because at the moment, the form that he's in, he's a match winner by himself. So they can't afford to put 2 players on him because of the other players we've got in and around him with the pace that we have in the side. Like I said, with Masuaku bursting forward, you know, the work rate of Fornals. It's going to be hard for them to deal with him, and he's going to be the key. Bowen's going to have, you know, Bowen's got a tough job to do to fill the boots of Antonio, but I don't want to see hoof long ball. I want to see little intricate passing move, 1-2s, triangles. Get the likes of Lingard on his bike. Get Bowen running beyond the defenders, and you know, with as I said, Masuaku linking up with him as well. I'm still confident. I'm still confident going into this. Not overconfident because I know Leicester are a good side, but I'm still confident going into this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, before we get into the live chat and get everyone's thoughts and opinions and score predictions, what's your score predictions for today, then, mate?
As much as I'm confident, I'm sticking with what I said on Friday Night Pint. I think I'm sure I said 2-2 draw.
Yeah. See, I went for a 2-2 draw in my predictions earlier in the week, but do you know what? I'm going to change it right now, live. I'm going to change it. I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. I think it's going to be a cagey game. I think Leicester are going to have more possession than us. We're going to have to work hard today, but I just think it's going to be Gerard Bowen's day today. I just got a feeling that he's going to get himself on the score sheet. And yeah, I fancy a 2-1 win. This could actually be a game where I think we maybe even go 1-0 down. Let's hope that, fingers crossed, that we don't go 3-0 up in the first 20 minutes. I can't have that again. It's been the last 2 games, but no, look, it's going to be a great game. But let's go through some of the score predictions that Owen's going for a 2-2. Always agree we use Scott. 2-1 win there. So he's saying please win as well. Matthew's going for a 2-1. Lings and Noble penalty. Vardy may get a goal. That's a proper prediction there. See, he's gone for goal scorers. That'd be nice to see Noble get the winner on his 400th Premier League appearance. Another 2-2 draw. I think when you look at another 2-1 win, I think when you look through what people are saying, like 2-2, 1-2, it's going to be someone's gone for a 3-2 win here. Connor Bradley's gone for a 3-1 win. Richard's gone for a 3-2 win as well.
You could see within
gone for a West Ham 4-2 win.
But see, you can see in the chat how everyone is a bit more nervous. You know, you look at the predictions that we had against Wolves. There was a lot of confident predictions. You know, you look at it now, everyone's expecting a tight game. You know, there's a few there saying, "Oh no," you know, like the one just popped up 3-1 Foxes, but everyone's expecting this to be a tight game, and that's what I think it will be.
Yeah, Barney T saying, "God, not Noble again. Should be playing Coventry." And that is, you know, I think David Moyes spoke in his press conference about Connor Coventry, saying that he doesn't want to put too much pressure on Coventry yet. I know he's doing well for the under-23s, but to drop Noble for Coventry would be a massive gamble, in my opinion. But look, I'm not saying Connor Coventry couldn't do a job, because I rate him very highly, and I think that you'll see a lot more of Coventry next season. In the West Ham first team, but you never know. Look, he's on the bench today. Moyes might need to bring him on at some point, so we might see him.
And that's it. And you know, as we said with Odebeku coming on, it's time for them to make their names for themselves. You know, play themselves into the sides. This is an opportunity that when you're a youngster at a football club, these are the opportunities you get. You know, and if you're called upon, you need to grasp that opportunity and take it with both hands. And hopefully we don't need him. Hopefully we can go on and get this win without having to rely on the youngsters. But you know, at the end of the day, if he's good enough, if he's old enough, he's good enough. You know,
Harry saying it's such a big game for us though. If we win, I think we'll be in Europe for sure. As I say, it's a massive game. Listen, a draw ain't the worst result, as we said, but 3 points would be so massive, because it'll prove to a lot of teams that we're here. You know, we're in the mix, and maybe a certain few more pundits might start mentioning us a bit more, because we never seem to get mentioned when it's a top 4 race. Everyone just thinks that's West Ham. They're gonna fade and die like the bubbles, and you know,
exactly. That's it, mate. That's the thing. We're still slipping under the radar, and you know, as I said, let it continue. Let it continue. I don't want to be a favourite going into the game as, oh yeah, if West Ham win this, they're going to be guaranteed top 4. You know, we want to just be staying under the radar, just play our game, do our stuff. As we said, 8 cup finals now, so let's go on and win them.
Bendy Ben saying 2-1 West Ham. Ben Rama settles it with a 30-yard screamer. Oh, mate. Do you know what? That is one thing I would love to see to happen today, is Ben Rama to come off the bench and get his first goal in a West Ham shirt. hopefully it's a winner and not a consolation goal. But look, we spoke about Ben Rama on Friday Night Pint, Scott, and we know that he's a talented player. You know, he's a good player, and he's just lacking a goal at the moment.
Yeah, he is. That's all this, we said why, I've voiced my opinion why I think he's not in the side as a regular starter. But that is it. And maybe sometimes when he comes on, he overcompensates because he's so, searching for that first goal. I think I'm with you. I think once he gets that, he'll settle down more and he'll find a consistent run in the side because he will hit a bit of form. We've seen it before, with players like Antonio looking for their first goal. And, you don't care how they go in, just as long as they go in. And I just think that will breed a lot of confidence in him if he can get that first goal out of the way. He's such an exciting player to watch as well, and there's a lot of potential there. So it could just be that little, that little thing weighing on his mind that he hasn't got that goal yet. Yeah,
Hammerjed saying 2-2. I think David Moyes will be happy for the point considering the games we've got left. Yeah, look, I think if you get a point against any of the top six, any of your rivals up there, it's a great point. But it's also a game that we can go for today. And as we said, mate, it's a massive game, and hopefully we can pick up the 3 points today.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. That's that's going to be the aim from the outset.
Luke said he's nervous. He don't know why. I think it's because I get nervous before every game. I do. You always get the little butterflies. You get nervous because you want West Ham to do well. You want us to win. But I think today there's something on it because it's a game that we can win, and if we do win, it'll put us back into that top four, and it puts the pressure on the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, the Chelseas because they're expected to be top four. We ain't. So it puts pressure on them. So I am nervous. I'm always nervous for a West Ham game, but today there is that little bit more on this game today.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it is. It's now you're getting to that end of the season where if you want to be in the mix, these are the games that you've got to win, and these are the games you've got to compete in, and that's what adds to the nerves. I think for everyone, the players will be feeling it as well. The players are not silly; they know where they are. They know what they want to achieve. Whether Moyes comes down, he sorts of puts a bit of water on the fire, then he calms everyone down, saying, well, we're there, but it's not the end of the world if we don't get there. And that's what we need. That's what we need. Just be grounded. Just put in a performance, game at a time. And
it's the Champions League decider today. I never thought we'd be saying that at the beginning of the season going into this game. West Ham and Leicester, the Champions League decider. I don't think it's the decider today, but I know what you mean in a way that if West Ham win this game, or if Leicester win this game, that'll put us, 6 points behind them, 7 points behind them. So yeah, it's a massive game for West Ham today.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It's key for both teams. This is a game neither team would want to lose.
Yeah, Essex Hammer saying a lot of pressure on Leicester today as well. A win and we drag them into the race for the top four. It is as well. Leicester pick up if Leicester lose today, as Essex Hammer just said there. It's a lot of pressure on Leicester today as well.
Definitely.
Vortex 24. Wish we were at the ground for this game today, lads. Could you imagine the atmosphere there today, Scott? Could you imagine when them teams come out of that tunnel? What are we now? 10 minutes before kickoff. So we're going to be handing over to the watch along in a minute with Nicky and Dan. But yeah, could you imagine the atmosphere at the London Stadium today?
Oh, mate, it's one of them games.
Oh, Scott's froze. It's one of them games, and you froze.
Sorry, mate.
You're all right, mate. Go on.
Yeah. It's one of them, isn't it? The nerves will be kicking in, but you'll be well up for this one. And you'll be looking forward to it. Sun's shining. I'm looking forward to get back. I've had 2 wins today from Thames Ironworks, so I'm on a high. I want West Ham to make it a hat trick.
Yeah. See, as you said, mate, I mean, I can't wait for next season to get back there in the stadium. But do you know what? We're not there at the moment, unfortunately, but we'll all be screaming from our front rooms, wherever we are in the world at the moment. We'll be getting behind the boys, and let's hope that at the end of the game, we'll have some happy fan cams, and let's have
A happy PMP.
A happy post-match point. But yeah, do you know what, Scott? I think we'll leave it there, mate. It's been another good show, mate. Another good build-up show. It's our second one. As we said last week, any positive feedback, any feedback you want to give us, we're trying to improve this show as much as we can.
Don't talk about players that ain't playing.
But you know what? That's what happens on live. You know,
Exactly.
It shows how real we are. It shows how sort of we ain't professional.
No, that's it. Exactly, mate, exactly. And that's the thing. We can't keep up with everything that's going on while we're doing what we're doing. So.
No, that's all right, mate. I think everyone found the funny side of it, and that's what we love.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to hand you over now. Make sure you stay on the channel. Dan and Nikki will be up any minute now with the live watch along, where they'll be taking you through the frills and spills of the 90 minutes of West Ham versus Leicester at the London Stadium, and let's hope that they're all smiling at the end, and we're all happy. We're all happy.
That's what we want, mate. Exactly.
But listen, thank you so much for joining me and Scott on the build-up show. We'll be back for post-match. But you're not on post-match pints today?
No, I'm not on PMP, mate. I've got to go work. So
Scott won't be on post-match pint. I'll be joining Nikki, Dan, and probably Graham then for post-match pint. So fingers crossed, Scott. Let's get them 3 points. Let's have a good performance. And one thing left to say.
Come on, you hands.